Welcome back. Thank you for staying with the broadcast. Minister Guy Joseph is putting the St. Lucia Labour Party on the spot by calling them out on what he says are double standards in a detailed report regarding the proposed Dolphin Park earmarked for Pigeon Island. Rochelle Gonzalez has more.
Economic Development Minister Guy Joseph has put the St. Lucia Labour Party on blast over the matter of the controversial Dolphinarium, accusing the opposition party of double standards in a highly detailed expose. During a Monday morning press briefing, Joseph pulled out the big guns in the form of a cabinet conclusion which included details of the then Kenny Anthony administration granting concessions to a company that operates a business at Pigeon Island to build the Dolphin Park. Joseph said the United Workers' Party administration has endured condemnations and accusations from the SLP over projects being undertaken by the government. This, he said, has been highly hypocritical of the Red Party.
There are so many inconsistencies with the positions taken by the St. Lucia Labour Party that it is a cause for concern that all St. Lucians should be aware of the level of hypocrisy being displayed by the St. Lucia Labour Party. And more so, it is a caution for agencies and individuals to be aware that information given by the St. Lucia Labour Party is very unreliable. It's not factual most of the times, and it is deliberately set to mislead the people of St. Lucia.
Joseph then went on to highlight one example of the hypocrisy which he spoke of.
We heard members say, well, there was approval in principle for a dolphin park in Canaries, but it had never been really approved, and you have all kinds of things. Today I have in my hand a cabinet conclusion. It is cabinet conclusion number 744 of 2015, granting concessions to a business in St. Lucia. Now, I've always been mindful about naming businesses. The concession was granted. And on point number 2, so it says 100% waiver of import tax and value-added tax on building materials, and it goes on to describe a number of things. And then it goes on to say the development of a dolphin recreational facility.
Joseph said the SLP tactic is simply mischievous.
So, when the Labour Party comes and tries to paint a picture that is different to what the reality is, it is time that people in St. Lucia come to understand that all the Labour Party wants to do is to frustrate developers, to stop the progress and development of this country so that they can get a possible chance of coming back into office. So they don't care if they sink St. Lucia.
Included in his expose was a list of names of ministers including Jimmy Fletcher, Philip J. Pierre and Alva Baptiste, who were recorded as present during the cabinet conclusion and for the ratification of the decision on November 23, 2015. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
As part of Business Month, Export St. Lucia hosted its Export Competitiveness Symposium, which sought to address various areas of concern to the business community. These areas included the shipping and logistics of export and monetizing the work of the creative sectors. The ultimate goal of the symposium was to demystify the export process and further guide clientele with the goal of improving export capacity of the companies involved.
At that time, we were the #1 country in CARICOM for doing business, according to the World Bank. 2007. In 2019, which is the most current report, just released, Peggy, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. St. Lucia is now ranked number 93 out of 190 countries ranked. And yes, you could say that downward trend has happened over 11 years, but we need to ask ourselves why, as a nation, we are trending downwards. And it's no secret, because in order to trend upwards, we have to reform processes. And if we do not reform processes, and every other country in the world is reforming their processes, they are going to go up and we are going to go down.
The symposium took the style of a panel discussion where the panelists brought together experts in the various fields to bring clarity on the various issues affecting doing business in St. Lucia. The Debt and Investment Unit in the Department of Finance believes the level of financial literacy in St. Lucia must be improved significantly to encourage more St. Lucians to take advantage of investment opportunities. The unit urges opportunities for investment in government bonds and treasury bills with very attractive interest rates.
St. Lucia's public debt is an area of significant interest to the citizenry. Public debt or national debt refers to how much a country owes to lenders outside of itself. The Debt and Investment Unit in the Department of Finance is mandated to raise the required funding to finance the budget at a minimum cost with a prudent degree of risk. Deputy Director of Finance responsible for debt and investment, Vera John Emmanuel, said her unit is also responsible for managing and servicing the national debt. The unit's operations are manned by 6 highly skilled staff who utilize 3 main instruments to manage the public debt.
We utilize the bonds, which are instruments from 5 years in the term up to 10 years, and those bonds go as a maximum rate of 7.25, and that depends on the how long you go with in terms of your investment with this instrument. We also have the treasury bills, which are shorter term instruments, and it go up to from 91 days to 1 year. And we also have loans, which we contract from multilateral or bilateral creditors. So these are the 3 instruments that government utilize in terms of funding the budget.
She said approximately 25 cents of every dollar from revenue goes to servicing the national debt, and the government of St. Lucia has always been able to meet its debt obligations.
So it's a significant amount of monies which we pay in terms of debt service. So that's why it is so critical that we manage and pay this debt on time.
The Debt and Investment Unit, in collaboration with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, recently conducted an investor relations workshop. The objective was to strengthen government's relations with investors of bonds and treasury bills, whilst expanding its investor base. Emmanuel noted that public sensitization on other forms of investment ranks high on the unit's agenda.
Take advantage of the opportunities that we have now in terms of bonds, government bonds, and treasury bills. It's a good opportunity.
The deputy director added that via these instruments, investors can make a contribution to the development of the country, while at the same time realize excellent returns. With a minimum of 5,000 EC dollars, Emmanuel said anyone can participate in the auction on the regional government securities market or over the counter to gain returns as high as 7.25% on their investment. Interested persons, she said, can contact the Debt and Investment Unit at telephone number 468-5536 for more details. For the National Competitiveness and Productivity Unit, Glenn Simon reporting.
A great day for women in sports, particularly Caribbean women. That's the sentiment of Culture and Creative Minister Fortuna Belrose as she congratulates the West Indies women on an impressive performance after emerging as the top team in the group stages of the ICC Women's World T20. Solange Alfred reports.
Windies women put on a stunning display of resilience and spark as they championed their way through the opening stages of the ICC Women's World T20. Over 10,000 patrons at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium were offered an electrifying display of world-class cricket as the West Indies women took on England on Sunday, November 19th, chasing 116 to win and solidifying their place in the semi-final stage. Culture and Creative Minister Fortuna Belrose congratulated the team by saying that when people, country and government invest into women in sports, wonderful things are bound to happen.
When we saw the way that the ladies delivered the game, I think it's testimony to what can happen when we make the investment in our young women.
Belrose went on to state that she believes triumphs like these should entice more sponsorship for sportswomen within various disciplines.
St. Lucia has been realizing tremendous success through our women. We have Laverne Spencer and also young Julian, who is coming through. And so I think this can only serve to bolster and give additional support to those women who are looking to become involved, and also to persons who want to sponsor and support our young women through their efforts in sport.
The Windies will go up against Australia on Thursday, 22nd November at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Grounds in Antigua. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. Still to come, sports news with Tennyson Glasgow.